Thank you for tuning in. And my name is Christopher Turner. I am the host of the show Shall We Heal? And basically, what I'm going to be doing with this channel is turning it into a podcast or a talk show of some sort. And I'm just going to be talking about the various things that involve racism, involve African Americans, minorities, and what it is that is going on within my race culturally and the events that are happening to us. I pretty much just strive out to, involve myself with the people who are watching, asking various questions that they have, just talking about, a subject in each video and expanding upon how it is I feel about what it is that subject means to me, what it is that subject means, examples involving the subjects, things of that nature. So at the end of each of my videos, I will be asking you guys to ask me some questions in the comments. I'll be replying to those either in the video or through the comments themselves. Um, so I want you guys to, get into it as much as you can. Ask me some good questions. Get into it. I want to know what it is you guys are thinking about minorities as a whole and African Americans as a whole. And I just want feedback as much as possible from you guys. So you guys let me know what you think, and let's get into the video. Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well during this pandemic that we have going on with coronavirus. I know I'm kind of doing okay, but it's hard at times seeing you can't really do anything these days. But I'm hoping that it gets better, man. I'm hoping that it gets better. I hope that they get everything that they need down pat and get everything all right, man. So today I'm going to be talking about racism and cultural appropriation. But first, I just want to give my respects to the man Ahmad that I got gunned down by the father-son duo in February. That's barely being brought to light this month. I think that it's pretty barbaric and terrible that they can do that and basically get away with it, because they weren't going to get arrested until people riled up about it, which is very sad within today's society. Seeing that racism is still alive and well. But I'm going to be getting into the video today and talk about what it is I have on my mind about racism and cultural appropriation. So, cultural appropriation is the the inappropriate adoption of a culture's customs, their ideas, and everything else that they believe in, adopted by people or society. Now, within today's society, a lot of people, they feel as if they can just venture out into people's cultures and just not understand or dive fully into what it is that they do and why they do it. And that's with every race. That's not just with African Americans, Caucasians, Mexicans, things of that. Like, it's with everybody. People may think that it's not with everybody, but it is. So as a whole, as human beings, we take individuals that use our cultures and we think of it as cultural appropriation. But sometimes it can be cultural appreciation. Not in all cases, but in some cases it can be. For example, a Caucasian woman braiding her hair, that's going to be frowned upon because she isn't a black woman. But an an African American woman who wears weave or straightens her hair and basically conforms to society will also be frowned upon as well, instead of wearing her natural hair. So basically, it's a lose-lose situation. You're going to be seen as something for something that you do, because somebody's going to take it as cultural appropriation in some type way or fashion. Um, so being an African American, I've I've always felt disdain at people that don't really understand, the stuff that my culture does or they brought about in some way. And it makes me have ill feelings towards people that do that, because they're doing something that they truly don't even understand, and they're just doing it and taking it as their own adoption, and they don't even know what it is that they're doing. So both sides of the spectrum aren't always going to get looked at as okay, because I sometimes look at people and I wonder if they actually do or actually appreciate my culture and want what it is my culture has to offer. But Unfortunately, both sides of the spectrum can't get looked at how I view it, because when people are comically, using my culture's ways and things of that nature, it's gonna get looked at with ill feelings. It's gonna get looked at with a sour taste. So things that are comical that people do, such as using blackface, I've seen a multitude of people who paint their face black and they're just making jokes about being an African American, and just all sorts of stuff, or even using racial slurs such as things like the N-word, just jokes that they would think that are funny but involve some racial stuff within what it is that they're saying. Now, that honestly, I feel like that should just turn the tide completely negative, because it's just you're pretty much defeating the purpose of what it is that you set out to do, or what it is that you set out and thought you were gonna do. So yeah, that I feel as if that just completely negates the fact that people do that. A great example with that would be the many Caucasian people that want to join HBCUs. Now, being that my people are very accepting, and I feel as if I'm not saying that they are superior to anybody, but at the same time they should sense their royalty and sense how it is that they have been brought about, and their culture's ways and things of that nature, what we've been built upon. I feel as if we're very accepting upon people, because we know that they can't and won't be able to live and be brought about as we have. So I feel as if that's just how that should be. Um, so I feel as if, like, white people joining or wanting to join a HBCU, a lot, like I've done research on it, and a lot of them complain about being left out, or they feel alone at a HBCU. Now, with that, I feel as if instead of them complaining or talking about, I'm being discriminated against, well, obviously you're at a HBCU. I don't see why a lot of them say they feel discriminated against, but they feel left out. Instead of feeling that way, why don't you try and understand our culture, or try to figure out why it is the way we are, or why it is we do the things we do, instead of just saying you feel left out. Um, I don't feel as if they should have the right to say they feel left out, because at the end of the day, you're at a HBCU. What were you expecting? That's the same. That's the same for African Americans if they're going to anything that is mainly white. It's not really diverse. It's just mainly white people. That's just gonna happen. Um, with regular Caucasian people, aka Europeans, anything of that nature. I feel as if they don't really have a culture to dive deep in, though. Like, for example, Swedish people, Germans, things of that nature. I feel as if they have more of a culture that you can, understand, or try to understand and bring about information with. So basically, that I feel as if they would have more of a culture instead of just being a regular person, or a regular European. Now, cultural appropriation has been, booming a lot within my era. People feel as if they just have the right to do anything these days, and then say, "Oh, you're appropriating my culture," in some instances, and a lot of the instances they're dead wrong, but a lot of the instances they're right, because the people that they say are appropriating their culture, in fact, are proving them right. They say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but at the end of the day, you prove the person right, because you're making a big argument about it. Not only that, you got mad about it. For instance, if I'm mad at something, and if somebody's calling me a liar, right? And I'm getting mad about it. I'm just going on all pistons, just angry, just entirely angry. My whole day is ruined. And I'm saying, I'm not a liar, I'm not a liar, I'm not this, I'm not that. And you're in fact proving the person right. You're saying you're not a liar, but at the end of the day, if you know you're truly not a liar, why would you even make an argument with the person? I understand people are going to say what they want to say at the end of the day, but at the same time, you're basically calling yourself the liar that they wanted to prove that you were. So transitioning with that, I'm gonna move into racism now. Now, racism is the discrimination and antagonism directed towards someone of a different race, color, creed, nationality, with the belief that their race is superior. Personally, I'm African American. I feel as it, and I've lived 20 years, and I understand how racism works just a little bit, and how I've encountered it. I feel as if minorities definitely get the bad side of the stick with racism, and it's just always been like that throughout time. Um, so, I feel as if we basically got born into racism just because our skin color. Unfortunately, it's like that, but that just happened. You get born black, you get born Mexican, you get born as a minority. You're just gonna experience racism in some way, shape, fashion, or form. No one should have the right to be racist, and that's just like period. No one should have the right to be racist. I don't care how superior you think you are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't like it. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have the right to be racist, no matter what. And that's just what it is, and that's how it should be. Now, with African Americans, we honestly, discriminate against our own people heavily. It's from the naysayers, or you're broke, or a gangbanger against another gangbanger, or I just don't like you because you have some sort of style and I don't like it. Just things of that nature. Making this channel, I've experienced a lot of discrimination against my own people. I've got people telling me that I don't need to make a channel because I don't know what it is I'm talking about, or the information I'm saying is incorrect. Just all types of stuff. They like, I don't know what it is. People just I would say hating, but at the same time, it's just like, people are gonna say what they want to say regardless. But you wouldn't expect that from your own people, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case with African Americans, because I don't really know how to explain it. They're pretty much just crabs in a bucket, really, and that's with everything. So, I could sit here and talk until my face falls off about how, everybody else is racist and how people need to stop being racist towards African Americans. But at the end of the day, we're really being racist against our own in some sense. We don't want all these people doing this stuff to us, but at the end of the day, we're going to carry out what it is we don't want done to our own ethnicity, which is, that's just big hypocrisy in the making. I don't understand why it's like that, but it is. And another thing, I feel as if we don't truly come together until something has been done that's heinous to our people. As far as shootings, cop killings, a family member dying, or until something good is happening, like a birthday party, a get together, a kickback, that type of stuff, which is very, it's very backwards with our people. So, I feel as if African Americans receive racism when applying for jobs, when trying to get scholarships for schooling, and everyday life. Now, with jobs, I've experienced that, and that, like, it's been pretty bad, because I've applied for a lot of jobs, but because I have dreads and because I have tattoos, people look at me as some sort of hoodlum, not knowing that I'm in college, not knowing that I have a good credit score, not knowing that I'm trying to get my life together and not be like everybody else that is negative, that is an African American. So with that, jobs is very hard for African Americans. Now with schooling, I feel as if it's very hard for African Americans to get scholarships to top schools and universities, because they're not really going to be looked at. No matter how good your grades are, no matter how good of a person you are, you're going to be looked at as just another African American. Now, if you play sports, they're going to want you, of course, because you have something to offer to their school. other than just being there academically. So with that, that stuff happens. But with everyday life, people, people just discriminate against us heavily, from cop shootings to, racial slurs to putting people down, all sorts of stuff. It's not right, but people do it on the everyday basis. From, just all the negative stuff that they could possibly do, they just do it. um we just, I feel as if we just have a lot of hate, being who we are and being what we come from. It's just been born and, rooted into society today, that it will and forever will be all right. Which is, it sucks. It really does. It really does suck. But it just happens. It's something that we unfortunately have to deal with, and have to, or have had to adapt to, with over time. So yeah, that's pretty much just something I had to talk about. um, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and like and subscribe for more. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know down in the comments, and I'm out.